everyone. Hi, my name is Lady. I'm back to chat with you a little bit. It's been a few days. I had a short time off, but obviously following what's going on, checking in with what's going on with the president, and still gathering information to bring to you with time. I hope you're all doing well. Today is March 24th. Goodness, the month is over already. Yes, it's March 24th. And bringing to you some updates, bringing to you some new developments, and also updating you on what's going on that already started before. I see that I have a slow connection. I don't know if you're experiencing the same. Let me know. But if it doesn't go quite well, maybe you'll catch up with the video later, or I'll redo it. Okay, diving in. Our president, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, left Uganda, obviously. And obviously with leaving a country like that, you know that Museveni is biting off his head and everybody else is. He is struggling with the fact that Bobi Wine escaped or left the country without him knowing. Hence the reason why it makes sense that they have now released, his home is free of military occupation like they did before. In fact, this morning, all of the military and police have left His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's home. It was published or talked about by NTV journalists who are always ready to speak Museveni's mind. So it's no coincidence that NTV is the one that's there first to report. Thank you, Jonah. Thank you. Jonah says, sorry for the loss of my father-in-law. Yes, you all know that Jacob's father passed away on the 20th of March, which was the same exact date where the late Jacob passed away 4 years ago. It's very unfortunate. Muse is very dear to my heart. He's a wonderful man. He loved me and never stopped loving me. So there's a thing where when you're married into a home, you feel at home based on the reception you get from everyone else, including the one who's taking you home. I never felt otherwise with Muse. Always, he knew and treated me like a very special daughter-in-law. So my heart goes out, obviously, to everyone, close family, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, siblings, children of Muse. It's very sad for our loss. Very, very sad. Muse will miss you. We'll miss you very much. Okay, thank you, Jonah. Thank you for bringing that up. I was not going to speak about it, not because of anything bad, but it felt a bit personal. But that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so back to updates. Alice, so good to see you. Yeah, going back to updates. Jonah, you have been so busy. I've watched all your updates coming in, and you have kept me informed on things that are happening elsewhere and in Uganda. But thank you. I appreciate your presence always. So starting right away, Museveni continues to figure out a way to get a hold of Bobi Wine, even if he's abroad right now. He has pushed billions and billions of Uganda shillings into ESO. ESO is external security organizations that work for Museveni. Every country has one, some sort of foreign mission that goes out to do, intelligence activity. But Museveni's case, obviously, he's looking for a way to either poison or kill His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Those billions of dollars that have been pushed out into the diaspora are specifically to be used by people who are going to pause as he's wanting to fund his campaign. To fund his the struggle trying to fund. As you know, all of the funds that they have in Uganda have been frozen in the way of freezing the NGOs funds and activities in Uganda. That was swept into it. So NUP, even if they wanted to, they have no access to their money in Uganda because Museveni has put a tight lock on it and they can't use it. So there may be a bit of a struggle here and there, but there's also a lot of funding that's pouring in from everywhere. Okay, a lot of funding that's pouring in. So Museveni is going to use one of those funding sources to try to pause or pivot as, you know, a sympathizer or a friend of Uganda or a lover of NUP, who will then act as if they're funding him. And in connections or meetings, this and that, they hope to poison His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, or they hope to cause a scuffle, cause some kind of, scuffle or shakeup in a place where they all are, and they will then shoot or assassinate him and call it, name it, whatever was happening as a result of what was going on. He got killed. So being abroad or Uganda is not safe for His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Share this video wherever you can, where it's useful. He truly is not safe abroad and in Uganda because Museveni continues to look for him. Museveni continues to fund people to try to take his life. I understand Muhoozi says Bobi Wine should never be allowed back in Uganda. In fact, he has a mission, a personal mission with his uncle Salim Saleh to make sure that Bobi Wine does not return to Uganda. In their sayings, and what they think is that with Bobi Wine away from Uganda, they will have another 50 years of rule in Uganda. But if Bobi Wine comes back, it means any day, any minute, any time, they will lose the presidency, they'll lose power or grip of Uganda. So let us all be protective of our president. If you hear something, if you see something, let us know, let anybody know, get the word out, not obviously to invoke fear, but because it's the reality of our circumstances right now, that they are continuously looking to hunt him down. Museveni had not believed that Bobi Wine had left the country until he actually sent that video while he was at the airport. He thought that Bobi Wine was still in the country. The reason why they kept on guarding his home is because they believed somehow he's in his home, maybe in a bunker, maybe somewhere around the neighborhood, maybe he would return. But all of that was false because, as you know, Museveni's intelligence is one of the worst on the planet. He really doesn't have intelligence, because if he did, if Museveni's government had good intelligence, we wouldn't get this good information out of there. But there's a lot of information that leaks out, and purposely because so many Ugandans, okay, even those in service for Museveni, even those MPs that you see walking around, the military, the police, all those public servants of Museveni do not want him in power anymore, okay? You know, it's the reason why some of them that he only suspects of sharing information, he will kill. He doesn't joke around. He doesn't. In fact, he has put out word to, or a command to the police and the military to try to find the people who leak information to William, who is Asimwe Wile, Bible and Politics, the one who I work very closely with, the one who does Luganda version and I do the English version. That one, Museveni wants him somehow, or he wants the people who share information with him. The other one, the other prominent person that shares information publicly and a lot of Museveni's secrets is Lumbuye. He has been here for a long time. He has done what we are doing now. We are kids compared to him. He has done amazing work. Okay. I mean, hats off for Lumbuye for a very long time, for staying the course and doing what is right for Uganda. He continues to do. So Museveni says he needs to get information about who are the informants of those people. So even if he tries, I think Museveni's generation is out the door. There's no way that he thinks that he, using his own mind, his generational gifts, to try to take our gifts or take the gifts of the youth and how they share information and all of that. So as much as he tries, he won't succeed. Okay. Moses Ali, many of you saw the way Moses Ali was dragged recently while at a public function. I think because of his dementia, being old and just being tired of living properly, something happened, something struck him. I don't know if it was a stroke or some sort of behavior that got him off his normalcy. And he was dragged like a sack of potatoes, just dragged out of that place where they were in a meeting. Well, Moses Ali's life his health has taken a turn for the worse. But while that is happening, as you might know, Moses Ali served in Idi Amin's government. Moses Ali has been a lot of things since before Museveni. He was in Idi Amin's military. He was once a rebel. When Museveni came to power, Museveni signed him on with a special agreement to work for him. It is no wonder that Moses Ali, up to his deathbed, is still a minister and will still be re-elected by fraud, obviously, but is always going to be in parliament until he's done. But now that he's on life support, Museveni and his family are signing over all of his assets. All of Moses Ali's assets are being signed over to the Museveni family. They are taking from the IGG's office and also from ministries of lands and places like that that register property or real estate or land and things like that. They're transferring that as we speak. And when they're done doing everything of that sort, they will pull the plug on Moses Ali. Unfortunately, that's how Museveni functions. So they're signing everything over at this moment, and when they're done, they'll be done with him. Museveni is now moving on to the next thing. Museveni is very fearful for his life. He feels like he is either going to be taken alive to go and answer questions with the ICC and other international bodies, or he feels like he could be assassinated any time. He's protecting himself and Muhoozi because he doesn't know what's going to hit him from where, which truly he doesn't know what's coming. But what's coming is not normal. And he knows damn well because he is that kind of person, okay? Museveni has punished people for anything, whether they've done it or not, whether they've acted on something or not, whether he has proof or not. It is how he feels that somebody lives or does not. So he feels like he must hide away because what he does to people is coming to him. Okay, so he's worried about that, and that's why one of the videos that has come out has shown him walking by himself, because even when he walks on the streets, they have to block both ways of traffic. Oncoming and ongoing traffic has to be blocked. If not, last night I posted something on my page where it says that Museveni has ordered that no certain vehicles should not be on the road anymore. And that's the purpose, is that because there had been a plan that had been hatched by the youth and people, you know, not people power, just people want change. They hatched a plan whereby if they could, whoever has a large vehicle that can drive them into the streets of Kampala or wherever they are, and just park. Everybody drive and park, cause congestion. That could cause a change of government. So that talk has gone around. And so Museveni now knows that could be something that could happen if hello Francis, if they decided to move on with that plan. The other thing that he's worried about is, if not the military or the people that are Ugandans in the forces, like the military and police, if they decide, he knows that he can't pull it off. Even if he has SFC is not as many as the several Ugandans that are in the military that are, you know, assigned or signed up to the job day in, day out. He feels like, and he knows, in fact, Museveni said something. He said that somebody had said that he shouldn't worry about anything happening to him because he's secure. And that, you know, Ugandans love him and all of that. And Museveni said, no. They don't love me anymore. The thing that Ugandans will celebrate the most in recent times will be my demise. So, in essence, he knows exactly what sentiment we have toward him. He knows that with everything, all efforts underground that are going on, you know, abroad, in the diaspora, KDF and everyone else, all efforts are to squeeze him, and he feels like he has lost. In a meeting where Museveni, Kayihura, Amama Mbabazi, Mugisha Muntu, what's this guy called Ndugu? That gentleman. They sat together and agreed that surely the NRM has lost grip on power. It has lost grip. And then Museveni, and then Amama Mbabazi says, you know, what we need to do now is move away from the NRM movement and try to establish a new opposition that works for us. And Museveni said, you know what? I have tried. I have tried with Besigye. I've tried with Amama Mbabazi. I have tried with Mugisha Muntu. I've tried with Mpuga. I've tried with PLU. Do you see how all these opposition have been purposely made by Museveni to keep him in power? Can you imagine the names that he's listing? Including Besigye, who now is pretentious in prison. Besigye is counted among Museveni's projects of creating an opposition to try to move away to sway hatred away from the NRM. Imagine that. Just imagine that in their meeting where Kaihura, Museveni, Amama Mbabazi, Mugisha Muntu, and Ndugu, Rugunda, sit together and try to come up with ideas. And one of the ideas is to create an opposition party. And then Museveni answers and says, no, I've tried. If we create something new, it will not work because all the opposition parties I have created have died a natural death because Ugandans don't fall in love with them. These parties include the party of Mpuga, the one, is it ADF, something like that? Amama Mbabazi, when he came, Mugisha Muntu is a leader of a party, right? Although he voted for Museveni, you know, the likes of Besigye. Besigye has been there all along since opposition days. Besigye has been there. So Besigye has been a design of Museveni all this while. Okay. The other thing is the artists who were very excited about the new law, copyright law. So copyright law, let me just, I wish I had a lot of time to, maybe I can do a separate video. When a law is to pass and become effective, there are several different stages. So my artists, so whoever the artists are in Uganda, Salim Saleh is now happy that you guys are off his hands. In fact, he called you Mazi. Mazi, which means feces. Something of waste, okay? That's what Salim Saleh called the artists of Uganda. I am done with that waste. I hope they don't come back to me. So in essence, the copyright law that you're celebrating that has passed has not been signed into law. It's ineffective. It takes several stages for something to be legal and to be followed and to be set in stone as part of the laws of the land. The copyright law has not been signed into law. It has not been gazetted. It has not been signed or passed for the second and third hearing in Parliament. It has not met all the requirements for it to be active. First of all, Museveni cannot give you copyright laws the liberty. Cannot give you copyright law because it then gives you powers. Even if it's meaningless power, he will not give you the power to exist as independent and successful without him being able to yank your strings. He can't do that. There is nothing good that Museveni does for Ugandans. So as you celebrate that, know that it is useless. It is non-existent. In fact, all he gave you is something for you to lose focus on him. Or meaning Salim Saleh, so that you don't have to keep calling him and asking him and this, that, and the other. Obviously, a lot of our singers or artists don't labor very much to educate themselves or learn about, you know, I don't want to insult anyone, but I'll leave that. I don't want to insult anyone. Okay. So anyways, let's move on to Muhoozi. He doesn't want Bobi Wine back in the country. He says he's going to kill him, but that means That is a reference to all Ugandans, okay? Whatever Muhoozi thinks of Bobi Wine, who is born and raised with grandparents, great-grandparents, all buried in Uganda, in the land where he stems from. But Muhoozi does not want a native of Uganda back to Uganda. How do you all feel? How do we feel who live abroad? They don't want us back in our country. The reason why they celebrate sending people to go and study here, go and do this, go and work in the Arab world and all this stuff is to go. Yes, Maureen Lewis, I agree with you. I do. I think for most of us Ugandans, we've been shortchanged. I worry mostly about my northern Ugandan people because of the period that we were in the camp. Most of the younger generation did not get the opportunity to study. But also, because Ugandans struggle a lot and Museveni's main goal has been to impoverish us, many youth who have resorted to using their talent, somehow the talent becomes sharper than a need to or desire to go through education or go to school. And I'm not blaming anyone. It's just the circumstances that have driven us to this, to being who we are. But with that said, I also would like for you to take a magnifying glass and look to what they are calling the copyright law. And also just teach yourself the processes it takes to lead a bill to becoming law. It is not yet a law. So please stop celebrating it. Salim Saleh calls you guys feces because you are celebrating something you don't have in your hand. Okay? Let us take pride in knowing that we are Ugandans and that being Ugandan is enough to start from. Just being a born Ugandan, we are enough. Enough that we don't have to totally depend on these people. That will give us the fuel to move on to get rid of these people that don't want us to live. Don't want us to live. Several youths have disappeared, continue to disappear from the ghettos and parts of Kampala or Uganda in general. Anybody who's a staunch people power or NUP supporter, if you're waving the flag, you're associated with NUP, many youths are disappearing without a trace. Nobody know, you see your friend today, tomorrow they're gone, and then you don't see them ever again. So the genocide continues, as you know, like Museveni always did. Genocide in Uganda continues quietly this time, because they're not going to shoot you in broad daylight. They will take you and you'll never return. So document. Okay. Yes. So Bobi Wine's home has now been freed after 3 months. Okay. That goes to show you that they wanted to capture him. Even if several apologists, Mukasa Mbide with the cross eyebrows, comes on TV and says, oh, we were not looking for him. Nalweso comes out and says, we knew he was living somewhere. In fact, he was eating fene and all that. No. They wanted to capture Bobi Wine. As I described to you, Museveni wanted him alive so that he can decapitate him himself. Okay? Himself. Fuel prices are going to go up further because when the Iran war started, Museveni said to Ugandans via the news that he's going to try not to increase oil prices or gas prices. But obviously that is just to hoodwink you, because in the background he went and discussed with the neighboring countries so that they can all increase prices at once. Even if that oil does not directly affect Uganda, it shouldn't. Iran oil should not affect Ugandan oil and oil prices, because there are ways around it. Not that we have our oil that we're using directly right now, but there are ways where that oil and price hike and the war does not affect us directly. But Museveni is desperate for money. He does not have money. Okay? He does not have money. So he wants to take money by all means. Apparently, fuel prices are going to go up by 200 shillings. But he's also going to seek some funding from Parliament to subsidize. Always seeking subsidies because he needs money for himself. Several members of Parliament and public servants have not been paid, and they don't look to get paid anytime soon. Okay? So I talked about that. Museveni will disappear from the public eye in the next few days, especially after swearing in. He says that because he's fearful of things going on or something hurting him and his son, he's going to even live abroad, maybe Tanzania, in that place where they've built the city of. He's going to move away and start to live in places where he cannot be found or be seen. In fact, it's likely they'll pronounce that he's no longer president. They'll plan some sort of switch or coup, but he wants to disappear because he knows that he wants to they want to take him alive or dead. Okay. Kasuku. I know that I shouldn't even be talking about this person, but anyways, Kasuku Museveni has requested his daughter Natasha to make sure that she tells Kasuku to start doing his job. With all the money that they've taken, they must do what they were told to do, which includes erasing Bobi Wine from the media by bringing in a lot of diversions, a lot of fake news, a lot of nonsensical information to be shared. A lot of other things other than having Bobi Wine in the news. Obviously, the things that he's doing abroad that are being recorded, like in a few days, is going to be at a conference, at a town hall. All of that, they don't want to be publicized or published in Uganda. So he's trying his best to make sure that the Kasukus light it up and keep up with the nonsense or diversions to keep Bobi Wine away from media. Okay. The other thing that they're going to do is to try to cause a lot of poverty among the farmers or traders in especially the central region, because according to Salim Saleh, he says that he has successfully done it in northern Uganda, and also eastern Uganda was successfully done, whereby in eastern Uganda, the farmers, if you notice in several years ago, in fact, I remember experiencing this myself, where farmers were being given fertilizer or hybrid animals instead of the ones that they have, so that they can lose quality of their herd or lose quality of their produce. So in eastern Uganda, what they've done, you remember a lot of sugarcane tea growers in eastern Uganda were doing really, really well. Around Ginger there, you drive through plantations of sugarcane, plantations of tea. What they did was to give those farmers loans of pesticides. And when they placed those pesticides in the ground, their plants began to suffer. The quality of produce became really poor. And that affected their gross survival in terms of income, in terms of product. But what they did was these Rwandese people, when they move into an area, what they try to do is try to give people money, okay? So that eventually you give up your land in exchange for, because you've suffered so many losses, you don't want to do anything else about it. So the sugarcane plantations or planters, in fact, my own uncle has grown soybeans a lot. They'll come to you and say, grow this product because we're going to buy it. Whatever acreage you have, we're coming to take the full thing. So you start planting, then they'll give you a batch or with a certain price tag, fertilizer, and say, this will make them even do better. They'll give you hybrid seeds. They know that it's not going to produce. Then once you have produced, they will tell you that they're coming to pick it up. You keep in touch. They'll keep checking in to see how you're doing, hoping you are failing. If you're doing a bit better, they'll say, add the fertilizer. Keep doing this, keep doing that, intentionally to destroy the crop. So once you have produced and they're ready to pick up, they will give you a story of some sorts, like, the trucks have been held, or there's been an accident, the trucks have been destroyed, or, give us a few more days to make sure that whatever you have in stock will rot, or the price will drop, such that by the time they come to pick up what you have left, you have nothing to get you the amount they promised you. With that, you will keep chipping away, giving away part of your land, parts, so that you only have a compound, maybe where your burial ground is. That's how Acholi land is almost completely gone. Teso, Eastern Uganda, Busoga, you see those farms. You know, a sugarcane plantation or sugar used to cost quite a bit. Now, you have a whole truckload of sugar canes and it will cost you maybe 500,000, a whole truck full. And yet you spend 15 million trying to just raise the crop, you know. So things like that have caused quite a bit of, poverty, and they're intending to make that even worse. Salim Saleh is the big brain behind that. And so are the other Rwandese that they control that bring in to the country to try to take over people's land. It is insane. But this is, poverty in Uganda is a government policy. It starts in the government, in State House. Poverty in the mind, poverty in actuality. In real life, in productivity. Poverty everywhere is what their goal is. Okay? Lastly, I have Museveni wants a photo op with Kabaka of Buganda. As you know, the Kabaka of Buganda does not agree with how Museveni behaves and what he's doing and all of that, but he's also under a lot of pressure. But just being who he is. The guards are not the Buganda guards anymore. The guards are actually Museveni's guards that guard him. So it is a matter of life and death for him for certain decisions. But Mayiga, who is Museveni's agent, who is the Katikiro of Buganda, is the one who has promised to bring to bring Museveni to Kabaka in a disguised manner. I don't know if he'll wear a gomesi or he'll be in one of the sugarcane trucks or be in among matoke hips. I don't know. But Mayiga will bring Museveni from wherever he is to go and take a picture with Kabaka before his swearing-in ceremony, because Museveni is desperate to look legitimate. His desperation for legitimacy is going to intensify going towards swearing in, if he does swear, which we don't know if he will truly swear in. But according to his plans, that's one of them. Okay? Those are my updates for today. I will be back tomorrow. I'm back to work. Okay? I hope you're all well. I love you and live you. Thank you.